Hello, truth seekers. This is your Conspiracy Laws host, JB. Welcome to episode 6. Today we're going to blow the lid off of the insidious practice of doxing. Now it's ruining thousands of innocent lives. Um, full, full disclosure before we get started, I need to let you know that I've been drinking today. It's not something I'm proud of, but when you see what I see, sometimes you're kind of forced to bury your emotions. Um, Not proud of it, but yeah, that's how it is. And I just want to be honest with you. We are truth seekers after all. So today's topic, I'm gonna start with an example. I want you to come with me on a little imaginary trip. Close your eyes if it helps. I can't imagine looking at me will help you with this trip. But take a moment to imagine yourself idly rubbing on your phone, checking out your Facebook feed, or really any social media. You're just scrolling through looking at stuff, and you see a post with a picture of a bloodied, half alive baby boy. Uh, it's just disgusting and sad. Immediately strikes you, and you stop, and you have to read what the text says. And in the text, it describes in graphic detail how the boyfriend, the baby's mother, beat him to a pulp. The boyfriend just had no mercy, and the boy has been in a coma for weeks, and they're still not sure if he's going to live. The post tells you that the police don't have enough evidence and can't do anything about it yet. And since the man was alone with the boy, there were no witnesses. The post then gives you the phone number and address of the man, as well as where he works, so that you can make sure that this baby gets justice and that this man understands that what he did is not right. What would you do? What would you do if you saw a post like that with that information? Most of us, without thinking, would call the phone number to harass the guy. If he lives within a reasonable distance, you might do terrible stuff to him or his property. Uh, if you have his work information, you might make sure that the guy loses his job. But would you do your research before acting, or would you just be drawn to act? We'll come back to this example in a little bit, but I'm gonna point out that the person in the example was doxxed. Doxing is increasingly popular on the internet. It's the practice, according to Wikipedia, this is the Wikipedia definition, but it's the Wikipedia definition because it's accurate, like it's what's commonly used. But it's the practice of researching and broadcasting private or identifying information about an individual or organization. This is done to publicly shame someone when we feel that they haven't been punished well enough by our country's justice system, by the legal system. And early on, doxing, I'd almost call it a good practice. Let's face it, our legal system is crap and then unjust. It's racist. It gives favoritism to the rich. It's how the founders meant for it to be. I mean, it was our country was built on making sure wealthy white landowners got theirs, and everyone else, well, they weren't even considered. And that still carries over into today's legal system. We've passed amendments in the Constitution, and but the remnants are still there. We aren't equal yet. In the last few years, doxing has become something that clever and evil people are using for bad. Uh, they're using it to ruin the lives of innocent people, people they just don't like, and it's based on how we see stuff on the internet, and we're willing to just take it for fact without doing our own research. They take advantage of the fact that when our emotions are high, when we see that bloody little boy, we're drawn to act, which is that's a great thing. We don't want to see bloody little boys. It's terrible. That's a fact. It's we want to do everything we can to avoid that. We like we don't want to see that at all, and so we're driven to do what we can to make sure that doesn't happen again. Uh, and so while our emotions are up, we're like, yeah, this is definitely a problem. Let's do something about it right now. And unfortunately, the higher our emotions are, the less need for research we have. It's a terrible paradox. And so these evil people will try to get back at people that they have beef with. They'll try to get revenge. Might be an ex-girlfriend, someone that they're upset with, someone who may have, yeah, crossed them in some way. And they'll share these stories, like the one at the start of this episode, and post the number and address and location of the ex. And they might even use the ex's name and say, "Oh, this person did it." Um, and most of us will see that and be like, we must act. Um, and there are so many different things in today's society where we're now supposed to believe the victims. Um, I think a lot of you are going to take this the wrong way, but whenever people are supposed to take something as a fact without doing their research, you're probably being duped. If someone asks you to believe them without doing the research, without any sort of fact finding, you're probably being duped. So it's depressing. Anyone can make up a story, though, and post a picture causing a strong emotional reaction and share the contact info for someone they don't like. And the internet lynch mob does the rest. It's a new form of injustice, meant to be a form of justice, but it's not being used in that way. So I I had my assistant create this graph here. You can kind of see like how over time it's just gone up, and there have been a couple of peaks and lulls. And you can see like peaks happen uh, like right there, and it provides clear proof that this is happening and it's becoming worse. Uh, so I've decided that with these episodes, bring the evidence that I have due to my privileged position, I should also provide you with what you can do to fix the problem. It doesn't do any good revealing a problem and then not doing anything about it. It's just going to frustrate you. So I've come up with a few things that you can do. First is you need to learn to recognize when social media is trying to get you to have a knee-jerk reaction. And when that happens, be incredibly skeptical. Whenever you get that emotional feeling, that rush of blood to your head, that's when like, oh hey, I need to be skeptical right now. It took me a while, but I've gotten better at this. Before acting on anything you see online, do some extra research, especially research the opposite of what you're being led to believe, because a lot of times the opposite is true. And if you have any doubts at all, if you're only 99% sure, not 100, don't act. Yes, our justice system is crap. Our legal system is terrible, but it is so much better than the internet lynch mobs. Uh, so much more credible. Lastly, if this practice really pisses you off, I want you to call me and let me know. Make it clear that you want this to end. You can call 802 862-0697 and leave a voicemail. Let us know what you think of this practice. Um, I'm going to end this right now. If you have any questions or ideas, please comment below. Please support the truth by subscribing to the Conspiracy Laws channel and sharing the truth with your friends. We'll be back tomorrow with an episode about the moon landing and how the rich have colonized the moon and left us in the dust. In the meantime, think about what we've learned about today. We awake the world tomorrow.